Hey everyone, welcome to Financial Revelations. I know, I took a couple of weeks off. It was Corey's fault. She was on vacation last week. How dare she do that? But she's back, so we're back. She's the production crew that we use, and she's very good at it. Skibucks at Skibucks1 for Twitter if you want to hear her diatribe. Every Thursday morning on WCRF from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. you can call and you can dialogue with us. I'll probably make fun of you if you call and ask a dumb question. So there are dumb questions. There's a lot of dumb questions. That's WCRF. And you can go on their app, too, and listen anywhere in the world. Questions, if you want to email Corey at epsf.com. Doing an Amazon trip March 2025. If you'd like to be on that, you can go. You can support it. Got a pretty full boat now, so I don't know if this would be the best trip for you to go on, but you can't support it. And every dollar that you give us will go to support the trip in some way or buy groceries for people that live there, the missionaries. It's going to be applied, and it's going to be applied well because I'm doing it. And, I am careful with money. I only give to organizations that I can check out and make sure that they're not wasting it because there's so many things that we could give to. So many things. There's an unending amount of charities and people that we could support. I don't want to see money get wasted. That burns me up so bad when I see a charity wasting money, or you see these big charities where they get audited and like, oh, private jet. No private jet travel here, let me tell you. nativosusa.org is the website. We're going to update it sometime soon. So anyway, there we go. And hey, I want you to know, I know it's Thanksgiving week. It's a big week for our country. It's a big week in a lot of ways. The election is over. We won the election. We're living in euphoria right now. And it's true. We essentially wiped the floor with the faces of the Democrats. It's the best time. It's the best week since 1776. I imagine this is how a lot of the people in 1776 felt, like we're free. But the election is over. We won. And it's time to really get to work. There is a lot of work to do. No matter who the president was before, there's a lot of work to do. But I think especially right now, there's a lot of work to do. And it's important work. I'm going to go over a little bit of that. But it's also Thanksgiving. And, while it's compelling and human, I suppose, to want to continue the onslaught of when Donald Trump would say, we're going to get so tired of winning. Trust me, we'll never get tired of winning. It does not get old to win. Just ask the Kansas City Chiefs, who have won practically every game. Nobody's saying, it's so boring. No, winning is awesome. And it's what we want to do. I'm going to suggest something, though, because it's Thanksgiving. I am getting new chairs, by the way. I don't like these purple chairs. They're too short. I love the purple. I love purple. I just bought a pair of purple shoes. Allbirds. I'm going to suggest something. I'm going to suggest that we be gracious in victory with our families. Now, that being said, my wife did tell me in no uncertain terms. It wasn't there was no negotiation room here for me. I love to negotiate. None of that was happening here. I am not allowed to talk politics. And I got to agree with her. I'm not going to talk politics because we do have some family members who think differently than me. I would say they think wrong, which they do. So what I'm doing as an offer of peace and reconciliation, I'm going to make a cheese board. Now, it is a cheese board in the shape of Donald Trump's head. And that's funny. We could laugh about this. And I'm going to use some white cheddar for his hair and some regular cheddar because he is kind of orange. There's no doubt about that. I love the orange man. Orange man good. but his face will be orange cheddar, and I'm going to do some other cheeses for a suit, and then probably pepperoni and some charcuterie for his tie and things. He always has a very long tie, so you could get a lot of salami on that tie. But I'm going to suggest, I'm not telling anybody what to do. I tell you what to do with your money. So when people come in and they say, well, what should I do with my money? And I tell them, and they say, well, I don't like that idea. Well, there's the door. You can leave anytime. Nobody's holding you here. I suggest we use this holiday to kind of mend as best as we can. Some people will be unconsolable. It's true. I remember when we lost in 2020, or did we? When we lost in 2020, I went back to work. That's what we do. I didn't spend a lot of time worried about what we were going to do because we lost. Well, we should do the same thing now. Let's go back to work. Let's work on peace and prosperity and things like that. And in this spirit of giving, reconciliation, and coming together and being of one mind as much as humanly possible, I'm going to give a $250 gift card to the person who can tell me why they need it the most. Now, it's not a contest. There's no question to answer. This is not a trick. But if you don't need it, if like you open your refrigerator and you complain at how full it is, and I have a friend, we'll call him Ed Padley. I'm not going to give you his name, but we'll call him Ed Padley. He used to tell me, don't ever complain about your refrigerator being full. So if you're complaining about your refrigerator being too full, I don't want you to send the email, okay? Because you're going to email Corey. You're going to email Corey at EPSF, and you're going to put need in the subject line, and just tell me why you need it. And I'm gonna pick one person. I might pick two people. I don't know. I do whatever I want because I'm in charge. But I'm going to pick at least one person, and I'm going to send them a $250 gift card, and I'll decide. So again, if you're driving a Mercedes, you're putting in premium, your refrigerator is full, I'm going to ask you not to participate in this. But if you need it or you know somebody who needs it, I'm going to ask you to send that email to Corey. Just tell me why. That's it. It doesn't have to be long. Don't make it too long because I won't read it. Make it succinct. Just tell me why you need it. I want to help. This is in the spirit of coming together. So that's what we're going to do. Send that email to Corey at EPSF, put need in the subject line. And I'm going to I'll let Corey pick it, and then we'll say, yep, that's the one. So what's happening politically, economically right now? This is a financial podcast. So it is called Financial Revelation. So we want to talk about something financial. Well, politically, it is a very busy time. This time in between the election and inauguration is a very busy time for the incoming president. And all of they have to pick all these personnel. They have to staff the White House. They have to staff agencies. So you're seeing all these cabinet picks happen. And I've always been of the mind, whether I was in power or not, that the president should get the people that he wants, whether he likes it or not. And, some of the people that he picks are going to burn out. They're just going to be bad picks. Not because they're bad people, just because they're, for whatever reason. And some people, you're going to see some cream rise to the top. And that's essentially how management works. There's this principle called the Peter Principle, where all it means is that people kind of gravitate to their level of incompetence. They can't go beyond that. And I've seen this many times in my professional career where somebody gets promoted. They couldn't do the job for whatever reason. Didn't want it, whatever. There's a lot of tariff talk going on right now. In fact, just last night, Trump came out and he's going to slap Mexico and Canada with 25% tariffs if they don't handle the border. And, right after the election, a lot of people had a come to Jesus moment where Germany said, oh, it's dumb that we're buying oil and gas from Russia. We're going to buy it from the United States. And you see a lot of people saying, well, this is what we're going to do now. Yeah, of course, because now they're going to be having their feet held to the fire. So all of a sudden they have a change of heart. Oh, looky there. I remember this one time where Germany was at a UN meeting and Trump was giving a speech, and the German delegation was laughing at him he was saying, Russia's going to cut off your oil and gas, and you're going to allow it to happen, and they're going to hamstring you. And they're like, that very thing happened. So you may not like Donald Trump, but I got to tell you, he's been right about 95% of the time. He's worth paying attention to. There's a lot of oil and gas talk right now, too, about lowering the price of oil and gas, thereby creating and expanding an economy and selling more oil and gas. So initially, lowering the price of oil and gas is not good for oil and gas producers. And you have to lower the cost of the refinery process, because otherwise they're just giving away profits. So initially, it's not good for the oil and gas industry, but eventually it will be, because they'll expand their markets dramatically as long as you're bringing down the cost for everything. So the fittings you ever drive by a refinery and it's like, I've never seen so many lights in my life on a building. Well, that's a refinery, because every valve has to have a light on it so they could see if it's leaking, because there's cameras on every valve. Now, they have these things called pig valves on it, where internally there's a device in there. It's called a pig valve, and it will send a message if it's leaking. But they also want to see them. So you got to lower the cost of this process, and that'll happen. DOGE is ramping up. The Government Accountability Office, Department of Government Efficiency, where Vivek Ramaswamy, a guy we love and have been talking about for 5 years now. I knew him way before you knew him. Not that that's worth anything. And Elon Musk, they're gonna go and eliminate costs and save, they believe, $2 trillion. Okay, I'm all for it. Deficits may be dealt with. Finally, we're taking in more tax money now than we ever have, but we're taking in this, we're living here. It's got to be opposite. And immigration's going to be at the forefront. We're going to stop these caravans from coming here. Although the Biden administration did just loosen up immigration again. They're on the way out the door. They're trying to hamstring the Trump administration as much as they possibly can. It may work. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And there's a peace deal on the table right now for Israel and whoever they're fighting today. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Iran. Iran just called for the execution of Benjamin Netanyahu. That doesn't sound like peace talk to me. When they said, okay, yeah, we want peace, but we'd like it with your head on a platter, I'm not for that deal. That's a bad deal for me if my head has to be on a platter. So it may be, I have to remember, and I want you to remember, the rhetoric that these guys give sometimes is for domestic consumption of their own people or the people that they're having to satisfy. It may not be what they do behind closed doors. So one of the things that I've learned from people in the inside is that, oh yeah, they said this, but when we got together, they did this. Because they also have to, they don't want their head on a platter. So these things are going to happen. Now, the next couple of weeks probably be thinly traded. The market has gone up fairly dramatically this past week and so far this week. But these things can be short-lived. So I don't want to get too enthralled with rallies, and I don't want to get too depressed by pullbacks. Pullbacks are buying opportunities for me. I think that this is a growth-oriented agenda that we're about to embark on. It will make our dollar stronger. It will do a lot of things that bring down interest rates, which expands economies. And in Trump's first administration, tariffs did not cause inflation. Most people in economics would tell you most tariffs are inflationary by nature. Trump did do tariffs in the first administration. They were trying to create inflation. They couldn't do it. Joe Biden cured that problem. I think if done properly in an expanding economy with increased productivity, you could actually bring down inflation fairly dramatically. And the things that this administration, incoming administration, is talking about would drive those things. If you could drive productivity through the roof, if you could bring down energy costs to a level that is appropriate without sinking the refineries, you could see inflation all but disappear. It's a very delicate balance. I got to tell you, they might get it wrong. It's entirely possible. I'm going to bank on them getting it right because I love the people that they're putting in. The people that they're putting in, for one thing, they're not traditional picks. They're not traditional cabinet picks. These are experts in field, and they're economic titans. These people know how money works. We're not doing DEI hires here. Okay, so I think you should look forward to some really good things. On a little personal note, I'm going to ask you guys to. Wow, that didn't take long to get emotional. We have a little granddaughter that's being formed in the womb right now. God's working on knitting these things together. There's a little bit of a concern. My son and daughter-in-law they're not spring chickens, they're a little older. So pray for this little baby. There might be a surgery at birth. We don't know yet. Keep her in your prayers. I don't even have a name to give you. They won't tell me what name they pick because they're afraid I don't know, that'll make fun of it, which I will not do because it's my granddaughter. So that little kid's going to be loved on immensely. So they'll be with us this week for Thanksgiving. Keep them in your prayers. And this little girl, we know that she's precious to God. And no matter what happens, she's on the way. And healthy if possible. If we need a surgery, we can deal with that. It's not her brain. It's not her heart. It's not her lungs. So I think we're in good company. But you praying for it would definitely help, and I would appreciate that. I am David Safransky, a real American, a true red-blooded, victorious patriot, and the voice you can trust.